Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. Now this is part of a suite of products, the material here, that is coming out in November. And it's another of those limited time offers where this suite of products is available from November 1st through the 30th, or while supplies last. So if they kind of run out at the end, it's just while supplies last. And these are some samples of some of the things that people have done with them, and I'm doing something completely different. But I wanted to just show this to you and then show you what this is. Now there's two stamp sets available, and this one is called Snow is Glistening, and it is set up, for instance, this piece here that shows snowflakes and then just falling flakes is set up to actually work on the Stamparatus with a hinge stamping kind of opportunity. So you could go all across your card, or you could go all the way around your card, I suppose, and have this image by using the Stamparatus go. And it's got snowflakes, and it's got some stars here and snowflakes, and it's got this snowflake tree and a little tree stem here. And the sentiments are, each snowflake is beautiful, sparkling, and special just like you. Merry Christmas to you and peace on earth to all the world. For you, joy, sending a blizzard of wishes for a wonderful season. And then this is the actual size of some of the pieces here. And that stamp set is 21. And then this one is Happiness Surround Stamp Set. And this is a stamp set that will work with all of the dies here, but it is not Christmas. Congratulations, sending positive thoughts. Surround yourself with happiness. Here's to new beginnings. It's your day, and hello friend. And there are images here that could be used as flowers. Now, there are snowflake embellishments, trinkets, and there is a set of dies. And what I have so far is I've ordered the snowflake trinkets, the dies, and then this. This is very unusual. This is white velvet paper. I've got a little piece of it here because that's what I'm working with today. And I think about the possibilities of cutting snowbanks out of this and cutting other things like snowflakes out of this, along with glittery ones and others. And I just think the possibilities are endless. And I'll show you what I did with this today. But I also have here the thinlits, and I thought I would just show you what's here. So there are all kinds of snowflakes, snowflake, and there's 2 pages of them. So more snowflakes, all different shapes and sizes. And some of these framelits or outlines that you can cut those out individually, or you can just cut them out of your paper. So it's very interesting. This one, for instance, I think could easily be a flower. Doesn't have to be a snowflake at all. There's a berry sprig, there's a couple of leaf sprays, there's this giant snowflake here. And I understand that some of these, I think it may be this one, fits inside this so that you could really do some very interesting things. And I've seen some interesting things already on YouTube with this. Then there's this piece. This is more like a flower than anything else. Let me pull that out so you can see it. And then it has the corresponding outline die to take some of those pieces out. And then there is this beautiful flourish, which could be snow. I guess mostly it is snowflakes, but very, very pretty. And my gosh, look at that. I don't know how many dies are in this set. 20. 20 dies in a set. if you can imagine. And it would span you pretty much most of the year. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have in your stash. I am now very intrigued with both of these stamp sets. And I don't always buy things that are limited time, but the last couple have been stupendous. And so I probably will get this one, and I might just go ahead and get both of them. But I tell you that today what I'm most intrigued about is this absolutely amazing velvet paper. So I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. This card is all about texture. And I'm going to bring this up so you can see here. So there is the white velvet paper that I have used with the embossing folder. This embossing folder that is a dynamic textured embossing folder that is this wreath. And lately I seem to be very intrigued with wreaths. And I have yet another one coming for you here in another couple of days. But I just wondered how well this paper would emboss, and it's just gorgeous. So this has this velvety feel to it here. This is a super simple card. We are using a single layer. We are using a card base of Whisper White 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I am using one piece of this velvet paper, and I figured out that this wreath needs a piece of paper that is 4 by 4, which means that on a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and you get 2 pieces of this velvet paper when you order the velvet paper, you get 2 12 by 12 sheets, which means that you can get 9 out of each sheet, so 18 wreaths out of that one package. So I think it's a good buy. Let's see, how much is the paper? Let's see. The paper is $5 for a 2-sheet package. So for $5 or $10, you could probably do your Christmas cards and have it be super simple and yet carry a big impact. And so what I'm going to do today is show you how I made this card, and everything has texture to it in one way or another here. And I'm using this beautiful ribbon. It's the leaf ribbon. I think you've probably seen this in the catalog and kind of wondering what to do about this stuff, how to use it, where to put it. Well, I cut a bunch of the leaves off and tucked them behind my wreath here. And I think it would also make lovely trim just down the side of a card, or covering a whole card all the way across. And just securing it behind and then laying something over the top of it, so this would make a background. Anyway, it is velvety feeling. It has, it's like it's made out of material, and it's deeply embossed. Let me bring that up so you can see, hopefully. It's deeply embossed, and it's silky a little bit and shiny. And there's definitely a right side and a wrong side. And I just think it's so intriguing. So I'm glad to be able to use it on this paper. And then the next thing you need, and really the only other thing you need, and that is a pretty good sized piece of the Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper. And what I did was I used this punch here, and I cut out 6 or 8 of these sprigs here, and then cut them in half, and I used them individually. So you need 12 or 14 of these, depending on how full you want your wreath to be. So those are the pieces that it takes to make this card. So let's just get started. The hardest part of this card is it does require that you fussy cut out your wreath. So I ran this one through the Big Shot, and to save time, of course, I've already fussy cut mine, and I've already nipped off a bunch of those leaves and cut my sprigs with my punch. And then to fussy cut this out, I did a couple things. I used my scissors to fussy cut out the outside. And I'm just going to show you here, just like you would fussy cut out anything, because it was kind of easy to get to. Now, when I got to the interior part of this, and I kind of punched a hole here to kind of get myself going here in the center, to fussy cut out the inside, I thought about it for a minute, and what I used is I have a little tiny craft knife. It's not even a big standard size. It's an X-Acto, but it's not a very big one. And you see these little tiny leaves inside the inside of here, and I thought those would be a little challenging to get to. So what I did was I used my craft knife to come in and cut around those leaves, and it made cutting this piece out in the center much simpler. So again, and I'll do one over here so you can see, I just used my X-Acto knife and went around some of those smaller leaves, and then used my scissors in between the rest to fussy cut out my wreath. And here's my wreath that I came up with. So what we need to do this, all of the work is done right here. There's a little bit of stamping, and I have used sentiments from 2 different stamp sets. From Still Night, I used Wishing You a Season Filled with Beauty and Joy. That's down here. And on the inside, I used a sentiment, one of my favorite stamp sets of all time, Star of Light. And there's this little saying here, a little Christmas spirit brightens all the world. And I used that on the inside with a sprig, a couple of leaves, and some of these red rhinestones to provide the inside decoration for the card. So this is what we're going to do our work on. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn it over. And what I used was a blizzard of glue dots. And what I found worked the best was just to take the leaves here and take I put that on the wrong side. I don't think one backwards will hurt anything. And just glue dotted it so that it showed out the front. And so what you have to do is decide which end you want to have, or which side you want to have facing the outside of your wreath, and that's the piece that you have to use to pick up your glue dot, because we're working backwards here. So there, like that, and I'm not gonna scrimp, and I'll show you on these. All I did was come along here on this length of vine and just cut these little leaves off here to get my leaf shapes. And that's all there is to that. Now, I did punch out my sprig, and what I did was I just cut this in half, and most of that is behind this anyway, so there's no additional trimming. This one I cut for the inside of the card. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here adding leaves, and I will speed up the video. And now that I have my prototype done and know exactly what I want done, this is going to go quite fast. So I will be back with you in a flash. Okay, so there I have my leaves. This is where, if you're going to make any adjustments, is the time to make those adjustments so that your leaves are coming out kind of where you want them. And I think that that's just perfect. And I loved how stark the difference is with how bright these leaves are against all of the white background. I have a little glue dot sticking out there. I'm going to tuck that back in. And there, oftentimes when a card is not coming together, it is because there's not enough contrast. And so I love the idea of the super bright green and the super bright red here against this all mostly white background. Okay, now what I'm going to do is exactly the same thing, picking up, boy, are you going to use glue dots? Picking up a glue dot on one of the petals here and getting this sparkle to show outside the edge of the wreath. And the only thing I would say about that is you need to be a little bit careful that you don't go beyond the card size, and it's real easy to do. And I wouldn't worry about it too much when you're laying it down, because I'll show you how to fix it before you finally put it in place. So again, I'm just going to go around and glue dot these items into place around the card, laying these a little flatter on the back than I did the others, and in fact a couple of them may need more than one glue dot here. So now's a time when you can come back and decide where else you need a little bit more sparkle and add another one of these. And I can see I'm going to need another couple. So I'm going to cut out a couple more of these. And then just trim those down. Okay, where I was, I had a little interruption there. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode, so I got a call come in. Now is the time to, I cut a couple more of these sprigs, and to kind of get an idea from the front of your card where you need a bit more of the sparkle. And this is just to your eye at this point. And just trim these in half and add them where you think you need a little bit more of the sparkle. And I think that looks pretty good. And the other thing you really need to do is test and make sure that it'll fit on your card front. Mine does, just barely. Okay, so I can see I've got a couple of them that could be reined in a little bit, and let me show you how to do that. What I did was, working on the back again, was to use some dimensionals, and I used quite a few dimensionals because I want this to be supported all the way around. For instance, this one's off a little bit, so I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm going to use a dimensional to hold that one in place. And as I look through here, I see another one that I'd like to have in there. So again, just add them. This is all about your own eye and what you see and what appeals to you. So I'm going to add a little one right there. Okay, so as far as these dimensionals go, the rest of these look pretty good. What I was doing is capturing a green leaf, a couple of sprigs, and then about, oh, I don't know, an inch, inch and a quarter apart all the way around the wreath, so that when the wreath goes on your card, it really is supported and there's no part of it that sags. Okay, that wreath looks like it's all ready to go. And I've got a few little leaves extra here, and I've got my sprig for the inside. And so now I think it's time to do some stamping. So let's see, I have my card base here, and I'm using shaded spruce because I thought that most closely matched the leaves that I used on my wreath here. And so I have Wishing You a Season Filled with Beauty and Joy. I got a little smudge on that one on the original here, and I'll have to fix that. But right here, basically on the bottom, use my grid paper here to help me get this as straight as I can. Okay, so now that is all there is to the front of this card. Now this has got its dimensionals all ready to go, so this is just a matter of getting this centered on the front of this card and in such a way that nothing hangs off the edge. And I think that that is going to work right there. And my wreath is supported all the way around. And let's see, I'm going to now do my stamping on the inside of the card. And I have this, which is All the World. A little Christmas spirit brightens all the world. I just love that little sentiment. Okay, now on this one, I'm going to push this a little bit further over to the left. I hope I'm not getting my head. I'll move it down here so I need to see so I can get this reasonably straight. There we go. I think that'll work. A little Christmas spirit brightens all the world. I just love that. All right, now I have my little sprig that is uncut, just punched out, and I'm just going to add a little bit of snail, actually quite a bit of snail because I don't want this moving here. And I'm going to tuck that sprig right down there. And then I've got a couple of my leaves left over here. And on these leaves, I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow because they do have, they're like fabric. And I'm not sure that the snail will not lift back up again. So I'm going to add a little bit of Tombow on these leaves here and put them in place. And I'll hold on to that for a second while I grab another one here. Let Tombow get a good grip on that. And I'm going to add a little bit more Tombow on the back of this one and put that in place right here. And so there I've got my two little leaves on the top there. And then all we have left to do is put our rhinestones on this project. So I'm going to grab my rhinestones and my pokey tool here, and I'm going to put 3 little rhinestones on the inside of this here in the corner. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And then on the outside, I am just going to dot these rhinestones around my wreath, trying not to be too symmetrical. So I am putting them sort of randomly here, but certainly not in a row. Some at the top, some closer to the inside, some in the middle, and just again, to whatever pleases your eye as you go around this. And there we go. That is the project for today. Really pretty simple, but I love the impact. And again, this one is all about the texture and feel. And it is absolutely stunningly beautiful, I think. Got a little smudge on this one I'm going to have to work on. But that is the project for today. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And let's see, there's this that I told you about at the beginning, the limited time offer, and customers will be able to order this material beginning on November 1st. So we're really 10 days away from that because it's after the 20th already. So yeah, so in 10 days you'll be able to order this material. You can go on my site, and I believe that the trailers are already out there. There's a little video to watch, and these flyers which give you not only a bunch of samples of what people have done with it, but, you know, we can use our own imagination and come up with lots of things. Here's one of them. Okay, and see, the prize draw for the month is a $50 shopping spree on me. And the prize for this video, so there's a giveaway with this video. You know, I think I'll make it a package of the Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper, a glitter paper, and a package of this velvet paper. Now, I've been able to order one. I won't be able to get another one until November 1st because I'm restricted as well. But we'll make that the prize, so that it's a package of the glitter paper and a package of this beautiful white velvet paper. And that will be the prize for this video. Just make a comment below. Now, you'll be able to order all of this. You can order most of this right now on my site now, www.lbedinger.stampinup.net, and then on November 1st, you'll be able to order some of the rest of this material. So thanks again for stopping by. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. Details are always below the video, along with my phone number, and don't hesitate. If you'd like to chat about it, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. And I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye!